Okay, the other two functions the basic cubing function, that's y equals x cubed. And the table is quite straightforward. Okay, if you cube -2, well, -2 times -2 is +4, and multiply that by -2, you get -8. Arithmetic is very simple here. If you cube -1, well, -1 times -1 is 1, times -1 gives you -1. And -1/2 times -1/2 times -1/2 is like -1 times 1 times 1 over -2 over 2 times 2 times 2 or whatever. And you get -1/8. And 0 cubed is 0, 1/2 cubed is 1/8, 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8. So here's the table for the basic cubing function. And then we have the basic reciprocal square function. Now, by reciprocal square, what's that mean? Well, reciprocal means you put it under 1, and square means you square it. So it should be pretty easy to understand that terminology, and that's y equals 1 over x squared. So again, we have -2, -1, -1/2, 0, 1/2, 1, 2. If you cube, or square -2, you get 4. It's 1 over that square. So when x is -2, the value of this function is 1/4. When x is -1, the value is 1. When x is -1/2, the square of -1/2 is 1/4. The reciprocal of 1/4, 1 over 1/4 is 1 times 4 over 1, which is 4. I'm saying these things fairly quickly, knowing full well that many people, a majority of a pre-calculus class, get a little lost when you start talking about actual numbers and simple arithmetic calculations, even with single-digit numbers. Again, I think overuse of the calculator is responsible for that, but you're going to need to think about numbers. Okay, you're going to be able to need to do these calculations because you're going to be required to be able to do all 5 of these tables and the graphs in like 5 minutes. Okay, and that's not an insurmountable task. You just have to know the arithmetic, be able to write it down fast, okay? And neatness won't count. Okay, so, okay, let's get to 0. Okay, if x is 0, x squared is 0, gives us 1 over 0, which is undefined. And 1/2 is going to give us 4, 1 is going to give us 1, 2 is going to give us 1/4. Okay? These are the tables of these 5 basic functions. There are more basic functions. We'll throw in the basic linear function later. We don't do too much with that at first because it's not very interesting, but it's kind of important. And then there are the inverses of these functions. And we'll talk about inverses later. And just a little blurb if you want to know. To get the inverse, you just switch the columns and you get the inverse function. But there's much more to it than just that.